Did the Nasdaq just flash a major bearish signal for the market? We're going to cover that more in depth this week, along with the volatile trading week that we just had, and also cover the G7 summit and how it could impact the markets.
This past week, all of the major indices were positive. The Dow Jones actually led the way this week, up about 2.8%. The S&P 500 is up almost 5% year to date, so it's making a catch-up. The Nasdaq, up over 11% for the year, is still the clear leader, as I mentioned before, and that's the chart of the week that I'm going to be touching on today. Foreign and emerging markets, both positive this past week, and foreign, barely positive for the year, but emerging markets still down about 1% for the year. Now we have a very important week with news coming up, so we'll see how the foreign stocks and emerging markets respond. The chart that we're looking at today is of the Nasdaq, and Matt had a question in the intro. Did the Nasdaq just flash a bearish signal? And I'm going to explain what he means. The sole focus of today's video is the single blue line at the top of the chart. In March, we saw the Nasdaq place a high of the year when it came up and it touched that blue line. In June, we saw the Nasdaq go back up and break out above the blue line, which is a bullish signal. The problem is, the following week, we saw a regression back down below the blue line, which could signify a potential double top, which is a bearish signal. And the bulls do not want to see failure at this blue line. As I mentioned before, the Nasdaq has been the clear leader this year, and we don't like to see weakness out of our leaders. Weakness in the Nasdaq could lead to a ripple effect into the other markets. So with a lot of the news coming out overseas this week, we'll see how the Nasdaq reacts.
Emerging markets were under extreme pressure last week, and that was due to multiple factors. And the first being that there's just a stronger dollar against their currencies. Also, higher treasury yields are affecting emerging markets, along with other concerns of upcoming elections in Turkey, Brazil, and also Mexico. And finally, trade war concerns are also affecting the emerging markets. And speaking of trade wars, the G7 summit kicked off Friday. And the G7 summit is a collection of 7 of the most advanced countries in the world all coming together and meeting. And that consists of Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, the United Kingdom, and the United States. And President Trump took a bold stand before he left for the G7 summit, saying that trade negotiations between the United States and other G7 nations was going to be a top priority. And also, he stated that the G7 made a big mistake, dropping from G8 to G7 and taking Russia out of the negotiations. So all eyes are going to be on how the world is going to react to the G7 summit and what negotiations come out of it.
Also, keep a close eye on the Nasdaq because that has been the clear leader for us this year, and we don't like to see weakness from our leaders.
Thank you for watching, and as always, we strive to give you everything that you need to know about the markets in 5 minutes or less.
Go ahead and like our Facebook page and share our video. Thanks a lot.